Okay, hello, ladies and gentlemen. So, my name's Matt Moody. I'm the spokesperson for the UK mission, and this is a briefing today from Ambassador Matthew Rycroft on the programme of work for the UK's presidency of the Security Council in November. Matthew will speak for around 15 minutes, and then we'll take Q&A. We need to wrap up by 1:15 as the ambassador has a lunch to go to, but hopefully that should give time for plenty of questions. So without further ado, over to the ambassador.
Thank you very much. A working lunch, I should hasten to add. Good to see so many of you here. We're very much looking forward to the British presidency of the Security Council. And what I thought I'd do was set out, first of all, the main discretionary events that we have chosen to add into the monthly agenda. Secondly, the top issues which will, I imagine, dominate the month. And thirdly, a little bit about how we plan to work, the working methods. So on the discretionary events, I hope that you will have available the agreed version of the programme of work. There are 4 points on that I wanted to highlight at this point. First of all, on the 9th of November, we will have a ministerial meeting on Somalia. That briefing will be chaired by British Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond to underline the importance that we nationally attach to that issue. We plan on that occasion to adopt a resolution to strengthen the UN Support Office for AMISOM, UNSOA. We have invited the Secretary-General to brief, and he has accepted that. We will also be hearing from the SRSG for Somalia, Nick Kay, plus the Prime Minister of Somalia, who we are very honoured will be joining us, as well as a representative of the African Union. The second event is the briefing on the 13th of November on peacekeeping operations. We are having a particular focus on the police aspects of peacekeeping, and the briefers will be Hervé Ladsous from DPKO, as well as 3 police commissioners, those from UNMISS, MONUSCO, and UNMIL. Next, we will be holding an open debate on the 17th of November in Development Ministers format, chaired by Justine Greening, the British Secretary of State for International Development, and the title of that open debate will now be Security, Development, and the Root Causes of Conflict. This will consider the links between peaceful societies and international security. It'll allow the Council to look at the whole peace-building agenda. And again, the Secretary-General has accepted our invitation to come and brief us, as well as the Swedish Ambassador as chair of the Peace-Building Commission and a couple of representatives of civil society. Finally, in this session, I want to draw attention to the event on the 20th of November, where, again, for a third time in the month, the Secretary-General will brief us, this time on the aspects of the peace operations review that are relevant to the Security Council. So those are a few of our discretionary events. Turning to the big high-profile issues, I want to start with the Middle East region, first of all on Syria. I've said before that that is a stain on the conscience of the Security Council. There has been some grounds for the beginnings of optimism with the Vienna meeting last Friday, which began the process of pulling back together again leading members of the international community, whether the permanent members of the Security Council or regional players. That process, we hope, will continue through the month of November, and if there is anything that we can do to support that from here, we will be very keen to do so. The key aim will be to ensure that there is a genuine political process that can be got back on track, and that Staffan de Mistura and the UN more broadly will have the full support of the Security Council to pursue that. Secondly, there is ongoing tension on the Palestinian question, and we commend the efforts of the United States and Jordan to de-escalate the escalating crisis related to the holy sites. That still leaves open the question of how to get back on track towards a meaningful political process leading towards a two-state solution. There are a number of initiatives that various members of the Security Council have been mentioning, and we look forward to working with all Security Council members and others in pursuit of any of those that might attract the necessary consensus to become a meaningful step towards getting that process back on track. Then there is Libya. Later this week, Bernardino Leon will be in town for a final time in this capacity, giving us an update on his attempts to forge a government of national unity, and we look forward to hearing the latest from the House of Representatives there, and we will need to consider the next steps, both in terms of the positives, if there is agreement on such a government, and the less positive scenarios if there is no such agreement. Finally, in the wider Middle East, I want to mention Yemen, almost the forgotten conflict sometimes, looking at media coverage, but it is a high-profile issue here and an important one for the Security Council, and we want to support the Special Envoy in his preparatory work to bring the parties together for political consultations, which I hope will begin in the month of November. There are lots of conflicts elsewhere as well, and there are some pressing African issues on our agenda, so we will make sure that there is time to discuss under any other business South Sudan, Burundi, Côte d'Ivoire, and no doubt others. So that's a bit about the substance. On the question of working methods, the three things that I hope that this presidency will be noted for are, first of all, being transparent, secondly, being interactive, and thirdly, being action-oriented. On the transparency, I've just done a briefing for all of the General Assembly membership, and I'll do more outreach like that. I have already committed and repeat now that after every closed session of consultations, there will be a briefing of those of you who are outside the Security Council so that you can hear straight away what the presidency took from each of those sessions. Most of our meetings will be in the public chamber, though. In terms of interactivity, I want to build on the work of the Spanish presidency and others to try to make things more interactive, shorter briefings, more informal, more genuine dialogue and discussion between members of the Security Council. And finally, action-oriented. I think at times we just repeat analysis, and we don't spend enough of our time really looking at what action can the Security Council take. So I will seek, from the position of the chair, to focus our attention on our products, whether that is Security Council resolutions, such as the ones I've already mentioned, or on the selection of the next Secretary General. The next step of that is the joint letter from the President of the Security Council and the President of the General Assembly, or maybe it'll just be a press statement or press elements. But on each occasion, we'll try to get to the heart of the issue and to focus on action. So thank you.